Good afternoon and welcome back. What's going on, everybody? I'm Miles. Hope you've been doing well, staying safe, washing your hands. You know the drill, all the stuff. Let's get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about the circle of fifths. Now, for those of you out there that may not know what that is, what the circle of fifths does is it organizes the 12 chromatic pitches that exist in Western music, and it organizes them in a sequence of perfect fifths. A perfect fifth being a musical interval between two pitches whose frequencies have a ratio of 3 to 2. Now, while I used the circle of fifths for a long time as a means of memorizing all the individual key signatures that are associated with individual notes, the main thing that the circle of fifths does is that it shows that you can start from any pitch and go 5 steps above that pitch, and eventually that entire sequence will lead you right back to the note that you originally started from. In a circle of fifths. You get it, right? You get it? Cool. Awesome. So while it serves as a good visual representation of the 12 chromatic pitches we have available to us, as well as the number of accidentals associated with each of those pitches' key signatures, it's also a useful songwriting tool. And I'm sure some of you are looking at a chart with the circle of fifths on it right now and thinking, how in the world would I ever use this in my songwriting? And just take a breath, all right? Here, hang on 1 second. Now, for some of you out there, utilizing the circle of fifths when it comes to your own songwriting, I'm sure seems like a daunting task, which I totally get, because when I first considered the idea of utilizing the circle of fifths in my own songwriting, at first, I was afraid. I was petrified. But I got lucky, because I realized that there's a wealth of music that's already out in the world that utilizes this technique in terms of putting together the structure that makes up the song itself. Plus, I'm no sucker. Is that it? That was it, right? Yeah. No, I think we're good. Okay, cool. So just to break it down a little bit further, what you have when you're looking at the circle of fifths is an outer circle that represents if you're traveling from one pitch on the circle, let's start with C, and you're going clockwise to get to the next pitch, which is G. If you go through as if you're playing a C major scale, the fifth note that you get to in that sequence is going to be the note G, the fifth of C. So every time you play a power chord, what you're playing is the root and the fifth of that root. And the inner circle is taking the same idea, but now it's adapting it to as if you were playing through a minor scale. So again, let's go from C. That note that's 5 steps away from C is again the note G. And in some instances, this can be referred to as the circle of fourths as well, because if you go in a counterclockwise direction, you get to the same pitches, but it's 4 steps away. But whichever way you go, it's the same intervals, and it's the same thing. So don't get confused, don't get hung up on it. As far as songs that utilize the circle of fifths, as far as the chords that the song follows, one notable example would be Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon. Now, if we start with the inner circle of the circle of fifths and we go from the note A, in this case representing A minor, from there the next note would be D. So in this case we're doing A minor to D minor. And then after that we have G. But rather than going to G minor, which doesn't sound good in the context of the key of A minor, we swap that out for G7. And then for C, rather than playing C minor, play C major, or in the context of the song, C major 7. And then from there, F is represented with F major 7. Now, the next step is supposed to be B flat, but rather than going to B flat, Frank Sinatra is using the note B, and instead of playing just a B chord, it's being represented with a B half diminished chord. And instead of going to E flat after that, which would still be following the circle, B is resolving to E. But then we can go back to A minor. So while eventually we deviate from the intervals that are represented in the circle, we initially start with the framework of utilizing the notes that are in our circle. Another example of this sort of songwriting approach would be Blood, Sweat, and Tears' Spinning Wheel. That goes from E minor to A, dominant 7 in this case, D, and then G. But how are we going to utilize this in our own songwriting? Well, let's just try that out right now. So, let's say we're starting with the key of E minor, home base for every guitar player. So, we're going to have A minor be the starting chord, and then from there we go to E minor. This is going clockwise through the circle. And then from there, we show up to B. But rather than playing B minor, what would make more sense to do is play B dominant 7. And then we could go back to E minor. And you don't need to have a long, elaborate chord progression. You can do just a 4-chord loop, or in this case, 3 chords. But doing... just fine. But now, let's do something a little bit more elaborate. So let's stay in the key of E minor. So we're going from E minor, A minor, and now for D, instead of playing D minor, we can play D major, D dominant 7, either one works, and then go to G. And then from there, C. Now, rather than going to F after that, we can go back to A minor and then do B7. So our full chord progression is going to be E minor, A minor, D, G, C, back to A minor, and then B7. And we don't have to just play it as chords just by themselves. We can do much more than that with this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're taking the same chords that we had from before, but we're going to speed up the tempo a little bit, and this time we're playing in 3/4 rather than 4/4. So it's going to be like this. So the next time you sit down and try to start writing a song, maybe you'll be compelled to utilize this in your own writing. Or maybe you'll just be better suited to recognize it being utilized in songs that you're already familiar with that you may not have noticed it being used in before. And other than that, guys, that's all I got for you for today. I thank you. Wait. Hold on. I almost forgot something. Wait. We have to announce the winner of the JHS 3 series delay. I'm really happy to see how many of you guys took the initiative to put yourself in as a contender to win this thing. And I basically took all your names, I put them down on the ground, and I threw a basketball on the ground. It bounced over and rolled on top of one of the names, and the name that it rolled on top of was the Onyx Chord. I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I wrote it right. I don't know if I did. For some reason, I don't know how to write things. But either way, congrats. You got yourself a delay pedal heading your way real soon. So shoot me an email and we'll get you squared away. We're getting this thing out to you. All right? A big thank you to all of you that entered your names into the contest. I'm going to probably do other giveaways further down the line. It's just a matter of figuring out what I'm willing to part with, honestly. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. And again, thank you. I appreciate you guys. And with that, that's all I got for you guys for today, for real. Thank you for checking the video out. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Big thanks to my patrons over at Patreon for your continued support. Your support is what makes these videos what they are and allows me to continue to improve on my production and ability to make bigger and better videos as time goes on. So I thank you guys. And if you'd like to join my patrons over at Patreon, I will leave a link down below where you can check out all the perks that would be attached to your support. But that's all I got for you guys for today. Thank you again. Keep playing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.